Hi, it's Ashley here at 15 Hats, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how to optimize your day using My Tasks in Asana. Let's get started. So if you saw my first YouTube video on Asana, it was related to CRM and how to track everything related to your clients. However, today we're going to be talking about how to use it as a planner and utilizing it as a task manager. So keeping track of all those little things that you have going on from your day-to-day life or in business and all of that, so you can make sure you're getting reminders in a timely fashion. So how you're gonna do that is this tab right here, My Tasks. This is going to have literally everything on it as long as it is assigned to you in Asana. Okay, so how you create tasks for yourself. If you're in here and they're tasks for you, you can do it from the list view, and from the list view you would click add task. But like I said, I prefer the calendar view. So you're going to just pick the date that it's on. You can do it this way or you can do it a different way. So we're just gonna go ahead and say I have a task that I need to call my mom. I'm just gonna pick something random that comes to my head. I need to call my mom on the 1st. So when you click into it, you can leave notes. If you have projects, which I'm gonna show you in a little bit, you can add it to a project here. You can add subtasks. So if there are things you need to cover when you're talking to your mom, like you need to ask if she can watch the kids and if she can pick the kids up or whatever, things that you want to remember, you can add them as subtasks. So pick up kids and whatnot. So you can click in here to actually mark those off that you covered that with her, write notes, whatever it is. Obviously calling your mom, maybe this isn't the best example for using some of these features, but just so you know, you can do that. And you can also write a description. So if you just need to, say you're calling a client, not your mom, and you need to remember like what it is that you need to contact them about, or if it's something you're reminding them like, hey, your estimated tax payments are due. Have you made your payment yet? Did you send in your voucher? I was a CPA in a past life, so that is why that just came to my mind. You can also add comments and notes. So say you have someone that's working in your Asana with you, like I do on my husband's business side. You can type things in here to leave notes. So leave a comment, it puts a date with it. And then that way anybody that is collaborating on this board, I don't have anybody collaborating on this actual pin, but they're gonna be able to see those notes in there. But because this is showing up now on your tasks, you can see that it's there and that it actually has subtasks for things that you need to know. And then you can click it when it's done and it grays it out. So that way it's still on your calendar, but you know you're finished with it. So that is great. But y'all, one of the best things that you can do when you're in here is on the due date, if you click in here, you can add a due date time. So if you need to talk to them, it's coming up at 10 p.m. So we need to call her mom at 10 p.m. That's really late, but you need to call your mom at 10 p.m. So you can add that due date time, but you can also set it to repeat. So if this is something that you do weekly, so every Monday at 10 p.m. you need to be reminded to call your mom. You can have this in here so that it repeats no matter what the task. So that's one of my favorite things to do, because there are things that I need to do at the end of the week for my business. So at the end of the week, I have a task that is QuickBooks. So when I'm updating all my accounting for the week, I have all the tasks that I need to do. So I don't even have to think about it. I just run down those lists and do what I need to do in QuickBooks, but it repeats every Friday. So every Friday I get that task. And then at the end of the month, I have one that repeats for QuickBooks at the end of the month, all the things I need to do for that. So this can be used so many different ways. So you can set it to remind you to change your toothbrush, or you can set it to remind you, if you're not doing business things, what would be another thing? You can set it to remind you to take inventory if you are using it for a business thing. So I have all of that in here. And this is just a really easy way to see it. So let me uncheck this. So you can see it from the list, so you can just see what it looks like. Recently assigned things are going to come up here, and you can actually move it to your today by dragging it. And now it's showing up in today. So if you need it to be later, you can move it to later, but it still has that due date in here. So for me, I don't prefer the list view. I like the calendar view, but you can see it all right here. So another thing is once you have tasks in here, say maybe the task is no longer relevant and you need to delete it, you can actually right click and then you can click to delete the task from here. Or you can go into the task and delete it from clicking the 3 dots. But there are a ton of other features up here. I'm not going to go into them in this video, but just so you know, there's a lot of extra things that you can do related to your My Tasks view. But another one is, say you were talking to a client and you did need to create a follow-up time after that call. You can right click the task and then click follow up, and it's going to pull it up and then say follow up on whatever that task was. So projects are what we're about to discuss, but you can select a project here. So this already has call mom. It's linked to the task that I right clicked on and said follow up. So you can see that linked here. So that way, if you have notes in that particular task, it's populated here. And then you can click the little calendar. So that way you can select which due date you want to have. So we'll select March 10th. And then you can add attachments and other notes and whatnot, but create task. And then it's going to create the task, follow up, call mom on the 10th. Y'all, everything is here now for you, so you do never forget anything, which if you're like me, you need this. All right, so let's hop into projects and how you can use that and get it onto your My Tasks so you also don't miss tasks. So when you're first starting out, you're not gonna have any projects auto-populated here in your Asana. So you're going to need to create a project. So you can click create project and then create blank project. They also have pre-done ones for you. If you just wanna start with a template, you can do that, but we're gonna start with a blank one. So we'll just call this YouTube videos. So we'll just say I'm going to create a board that has to do with all my YouTube videos. You can make it public to your company. So this is if you have people that are on there on your company that you're sharing and collaborating with. So like I mentioned before, that's what my husband has on his account, and that's the account that we typically use. Or you can make it private to you. So that way, and this is the free version. There's other things you can do with Pro, like you saw this little gold thing. That's for if you have the paid Asana. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna use the free one, obviously, and we're gonna say public to company. Then you can pick what you want, whether you want it to be the list view, board view, or calendar view. I like the calendar view for most things. It's just what works for my brain. So I'm going to then click create project, and it's going to open it, and it's going to start with that calendar view. So I can see on here from the calendar. This is what it's going to open up to, but you can still get to the board, which is where you can have columns. It's columns and you can drag and drop things. If you ever use Trello, it's going to be similar to that. And then you can still see the list view, which is going to be very similar to the My Lists, or the list view under My Tasks. So we'll look at calendar view. And you can customize it so that you can make it your default and whatnot and everything over here. So set this layout as default because I like the weekends to be showing. So now from here, it's gonna be the same thing as on My Tasks. You can create tasks. So this would be YouTube videos. So we're gonna say publish Asana video. So this is gonna be the Asana video. So I'm gonna come in here and then I'm gonna have tasks. So we'll say we need to upload to YouTube. Then we need to create the thumbnail. So you'll have all these tasks, or you can have all these tasks in here. It's going to be exactly the same as My Tasks, so I don't want to go back over everything in here, but this is where you're going to click an assignee. So say you had someone, so my team member who's on here, which I'm not even sure how I got her in here, she's in here, but say I wanted to assign it to her, I could click that and it's going to then send this task to her Asana My Tasks. But because she would be like, what is this? And have no clue, I'm going to send it to myself. So it's due on Wednesday because that's the day I put it on, even though it's here in my project. And then I've assigned it to myself. So you can see that my picture, because that's what I have uploaded into my account for Asana, is showing up, and it has the 3 tasks. So now, because that's due on Wednesday, if I come back over here to My Tasks, it's showing up under My Tasks and it's in the color purple. So this is associating it to a project. So you can see down here that the color that Asana pre-selected, you can change that if you don't like that color, but it is pre-selected it to be purple. So that's how you know that this is associated to a project, but it's now showing up in my tasks. So I can see that I have something come due. So if you click into it, you can actually see which project it is listed to. And then if you had sections, which the sections would be broken out on that board view, but you could have it as in sections, but you'll see the project here. So if you had more than one project that task was showing up on. So I'm gonna have a separate video in the future on how I use Asana to actually track all my social media content planning. We just totally revamped that. So we're testing it to make sure it works for us before we share. But this is one of the ways that we use it, and we just changed the project here. So all of that is in here, but you can see that it's all on my tasks. So now that you've seen how you can create projects, and that is like endless opportunity for what you want to make a project, but let me just discuss some of the ways that I am using my tasks. So like I said, it has all of my monthly and weekly reminders. So things that I don't want to forget, my procedures for things like checking things on my website and updating them, just the little things that tend to slip through the cracks. It's all in here, and with repetitive, like repeating tasks, so that way once I complete it, it just moves it automatically to where I need it in the future. So other things that I use are my daily method of operations I have in here. So even like the most basic things, just to start the day off with, like, I accomplished something. I have make a cup of coffee, because you know what? I do that no matter what every morning. So we have that in there as my first check off, just to have a feel good moment at the beginning of the day. So as you can see, you can really use Asana to remind you for all your daily tasks, from business to personal and everything in between. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified when we post more videos just like this one. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.